going on? My name is Steph and welcome back to my channel, Mountain High Life. I'm going to be doing a quick little race recap video for you guys, but before we get into today's video, I just want to say a couple of things. So first of all, thank you guys so much for all the support and all my new subscribers. It's just so crazy how much the channel has grown, and it truly means so much to me to have grown a really supportive community and just really uplifting, positive. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the love and kindness. Secondary to that, I do just want to apologize. I have not been responding to comments. I have just been so busy, and it really irritates me and bothers me when I don't get around to responding to comments. So within the next few days, I'll be able to kind of start getting back to you guys a little bit better and stay on top of responding to comments. And point number 3 is in my last video said I was going to be kind of talking about some race goals and objectives for QuadRock 25, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. Just didn't happen. I just did not have time to edit that video, so I'm just going to kind of rewind, talk about like what my goals were going into the race, how this kind of plays into training for my first 100 miler, how the race went, shortcomings, what went well, what didn't, and we are just gonna jump right in. QuadRock is a race that is organized by the NAR Runner race organization, and it is such a race that is near and dear to my heart. But all the trails that are run in the QuadRock 25 as well as the 50 miler are the trails I run pretty much every weekend in the fall, winter, and spring. I spend a lot of time on those trails and have actually used kind of general outline of the course as good training for me during those winter and spring months in particular. So I love those trails, and I just love that course so much. It's hard, it's rugged, it's technical, and it's run pretty fast. For the 25 mile and 50 mile QuadRock races, they start in Lorry State Park and essentially do a big loop down into Horsetooth Mountain Park. The QuadRock 25 miler features 3 considerable climbs and 5,500 feet of elevation gain. The 50 miler, you run the 25 mile course and essentially go out and do the 25 mile course in reverse. So every descent that you have run down in the 25 mile is now an ascent in the 50 mile. It boasts 11,000 feet of climbing in that 50 miler. When it came to signing up for QuadRock, it wasn't even a question. I just do it because I love that course, love those trails, and the vibe and community that the NAR Runners race organization brings is just immaculate and spectacular. So I highly recommend, if you've considered doing QuadRock or Never Summer or Blue Sky Marathon, any of those races here in Fort Collins, come do them, come check them out. Those are my trails. Those are my freaking trails. I love them so much, so I highly recommend them. You won't be disappointed by the community, the vibes, the energy, the volunteers, the aid stations. They are just so awesome, and it's got such a great small event feel to it where you just feel really acknowledged as a runner, and I just love it. Going into QuadRock this year, if I'm being honest, I ran it last year for the first time, 4 hours, 39 minutes, and I was really impressed with myself last year. And I felt going into the race this year a little nervous because I knew with the training and where my focus for training has been over the last few months, I was not as fast as I was last year. A lot of my training has been focused on my first 100 miler, the High Lonesome 100. So a lot more just long days, volume, and less speed work. Like I said, catered to a 100 mile race. So I was feeling a little bit slower, which made me a little bit nervous. Like I said, the QuadRock 25, it's fast. It's run pretty fast and by some impressive athletes. So I just kind of was realistic, and I originally at the beginning of the year had hoped to set out for a PR, but as we kind of approached race day, I was just, we'll see what we can do. Friday night taper run done, just a quick and easy 5 miles to kind of round off this little mini taper I had going on. Let's talk goals. So last year, 2024, I ran the 25 mile in 4 hours and 39 minutes. So I'm hoping I can run it in the same time or in around that 4 hour, 40 minute mark, or a little bit faster. Now I do feel like last year at this time I had a bit more trail speed, and I've been training more specifically with 100 miles in mind versus like QuadRock in mind. So I don't feel quite as fast, which is okay. But my hope is, like I said, to run it in the same time I did last year or a little bit faster. So B goal is to run it, 4 hours 30 minutes, let's say. And then my A goal is to run it in 4 hours, or as close to 4 hours and 20 minutes as humanly possible. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what we've got. That's about as much as I'm gonna think about time for tomorrow. So I woke up around 4:50 Saturday morning. It's a quick 15-minute drive up to the trailhead from my house or the start line. So I woke up and I actually felt pretty nervous, but my strategy is to start out a little bit on the conservative side, but consistent. And for the first climb, to just take it consistent, run as much as I can, but understand and bear in mind that the second climb is extremely technical and punchy, and I always like to save a little bit of gas for the last climb and final descent of the race. Keeping that in mind, as per usual, we got started and the race just starts out so fast. It always does. You start down the main road of Lori State Park, and I mean, people are zooming. I felt going into the single track, because everything kind of bottlenecks onto the single track trails, that I had fallen into a really good position. And actually, it was so awesome because there was a lot of times where I would get passed, or I would pass somebody and I would have people ask, oh, do you have a YouTube channel? And yeah, that's me. It was just really fun to like have some of the community there and like know who I am and to recognize me and to be able to just like say hi. It was really awesome. So I felt like I took the first climb pretty good, but I also wondered, did I go out too fast?
4 miles in, first gel down. Hoping I didn't go up too fast. It was good.
After the first descent, or starting the first descent, it's I think a 3-mile run down to the second aid station, which is at 10.5 miles into the race. Going down that first descent, I felt good. I felt like I wasn't going down that descent too fast. I just kind of relaxed, had a good rhythm, and just decided to, take it easy going into that aid station. And
about 2 hours or an hour and 45 minutes. Making good time. Should be coming to the second aid station here, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile, give or take, so we'll see.
And when I got to the aid station, it was incredibly obvious that it was getting very warm out already. It was, I want to say, like an hour and 45 minutes into the race, and I refilled both my bottles. I had a bottle of water, and then I threw some Tailwind into my second bottle. Leaving that aid station, there was a lot of momentum from other runners around me. I felt like a lot of them were running the climb and taking that second climb really fast, and I just tried to keep my mind in my own race, and I just kind of let them go. I let my ego go, and I was just like, no, I know what's to come. Trust in your knowledge, trust in your experience on this course and these trails. You know what's to come, just keep it reeled in. And I think I did a pretty good job of that, but I will say, like, during that time it started to get really hot. But the one really strong point of this race for me was my nutrition. I was pretty much doing a Science and Sport Beta Fuel every 35 minutes, supplementing those gels with a Go gel about every hour. Science and Sport gel 30 minutes, at the hour mark, Go gel. And I was drinking Tailwind really easy, and I think because it was so hot, it just made getting that fueling or that Tailwind down so easy because I was already just really thirsty. So not only was I getting the carbs in there, I was actually drinking enough liquids, which I think is something I've always kind of struggled with. I didn't even bother with any chews or gummies because I just knew it was probably going to be too hot and I wasn't going to want to actually chew something, and it's a fast race, so it's just easier to get a gel down. So I was really committed to that, and I think I did a really good job just getting that liquid down and those liquid carbs, liquid nutrition down. We were crushing it. I made it to the third aid station, which I grabbed an ice pop, which was so incredible at that point in the race because it was getting really hot. I got my sleeves wet in like a little sponge bath.
We had about 11 left. Got a little ice pop. And we have a fun little descent. Just got my little sponge bath too. Going pretty okay. Hoping I can rally for this last climb and last descent. I guess we're in the middle of the second descent, but rally for the last climb and just see what we can do in the next 11 miles. Let's have some fun.
And so during that descent, I felt pretty good, but again, I could still feel the heat, and I just tried to really enjoy having like nice wet sleeves, which for this race I wore the John G Sun Chaser hoodie. I wore the Sun Chaser hoodie I had from last year, and then I wore a pair of the multi shorts as well as the John G Trailbreaker hat. And so I just love the Sun Chaser hoodie for races because I don't have to worry about sunscreen. I probably would have gotten sunburnt yesterday, and also especially if the aid stations offer a way to get water on your arms, the Sun Chaser hoodie is going to keep you cool because it's not just water on your skin that evaporates really quickly. It's going to take more time for it to evaporate, therefore keeping you cooler longer. It's going to keep you protected from the sun. It's going to keep you feeling cooler than if you were just in a tank top. So I love John G's gear so much. I pretty much wore that exact outfit for Never Summer last year, and I'll probably be looking at a similar outfit for the High Lonesome 100. So I just have to say thank you so much to John G for partnering with me, believing in my channel, and seriously making top tier running apparel. It's so nice to go out and not even have to worry about comfort or sunscreen or sun protection while I'm out in a race, because John G's apparel is just so awesome. So click the link in the description, use my code MountainHighLife for 10% off your order. Thank you, John G. I love you guys. During that descent, like I said, I felt really comfortable. I just kept getting my fueling in, focusing on just good nutrition, because I knew once we made it to that last and final aid station, it was gonna be a stout little climb up the final climb of the race, and then I wanted some good strong legs and a good strong mind to power me through the end of the race. So during that descent, you know, like I said, I just kind of kept it reeled in a little bit, knowing I wanted to keep some gusto and strength in my legs for that last climb and last descent. And it was really exciting because during that time I was probably 17 miles in, and I got to see David Roach, and I think I was like in a moment of just kind of zoning out a little bit, and then I look up and I see him, and it was just this, let's go, I love you, Roach. And he was, of course, in typical Roach fashion, just, you're amazing. Oh God, he's so awesome. So it was just really cool to witness such an incredible athlete just getting after it. I felt lucky to like even witness him. I've been loving watching his Western State series on his YouTube channel. So like seeing him in person, knowing all the work he's put in, it was just really exciting and really motivating. So that was such a high of my race. I came down, made it to the last aid station, refilled my bottles. I had one more bottle of Tailwind. So overall in the race, I had consumed 3 bottles of Tailwind and 3 bottles of water, which would put us at 120 ounces of water. So just shy of a gallon of liquid during that race. By that time I reached that last aid station, it was hot. It was probably mid 70s leaving that aid station, and it was kind of exciting because I made it up this one climb and I could see a new female position in front of me. And I remember seeing this girl at the start of the race, and I saw her and I was like, okay, we could make a move. We could make a move and get into a better position. But it wasn't like a huge focus. It was, you know, I think at this point in the race, I realized I wasn't gonna PR. Kind of coming into that last aid station, I had done the math, and I'm like, I mean, I would have to be cooking leaving that aid station. And to be honest with you, I just was like, that's okay. It's a hot day. I'm perfectly content with that. This is great training. So accepting the fact I'm not going to PR, I still wanted to go out and like give what I could for that day and just show up, have a good time, enjoy myself, but also understand that I'm still here to do the best that I can do for that race. So my objective was I was able to run a lot of that last climb, like way more than I was last year. But by the time I reached kind of around 2/3 of that last climb, I started to feel kind of dizzy, and I knew it was the heat, and it started to make me just like, what do I do right now? And I just kept drinking liquids. I kept getting my gels in, and I just focused in on the moment, like, I'm here right now. It's okay, just ease off a little bit. And I was able to kind of calm myself down really well, which I think was another really awesome thing to kind of discover during this race, was despite like physically just kind of having like a, oh my gosh, something, I don't feel like amazing in this moment, but to be able to just like embrace that and reel it in and still just keep moving forward. But I almost forgot that had even happened, because mentally I just overcame it and we got through it. I was experiencing that and I was like, just keep moving forward. And that's what I did. They had they had a water table aid station, which was some of the paramedics had drove up that 4x4 road and just had some water, which was just incredible at that point in time. I got a caffeinated gel down and I started down the final descent. And initially I was taking it kind of conservative because I had felt a little bit dizzy at that point in time. There kind of came a point where a lot of the 50 milers who were doubling back and starting on their second loop of the course, they were kind of like, come on, you're almost done, you're almost done. And it was just like, I am almost done. I have like 2.5 miles. So if we want to pick it up, like now's the time. So progressively I started to just increase my pace. I started to feel better and more like myself. And once I kind of was able to trust my feet and my body again, and that dizziness kind of went away, it was like, okay, we're okay. We're gonna get after it. So once the trail kind of opens up, again, I've run these trails more times than I can even count. I knew that the technical sections kind of eased off. So once it opened up, I started to open up, picking up the pace, and I felt really good, really comfortable. And that's when I could kind of see that female runner who was one position in front of me. And I was like locked in and I'm like, we're gonna go get her. Let's chase her down. And she just put up a fight and it was awesome. It was so awesome to just have a really strong female in front of me at that point in the race, because it pushed me, motivated me, and it was like, let's go, let's get it. I chased her, and when I finally got her, it was just so nice because the camaraderie was just so friendly. And like I said, the vibes out there on the trails were just so high. I was feeling really good, and I just kind of came into that final, I don't know, maybe half mile, just feeling really strong, really fast, and we finished feeling really great. And you know, like I said, it was not a PR and it wasn't a podium, but I had a great time out there. And I think for a lot of people, from the general consensus, it was just a really hot day. I don't think I've ever tripped so much in a race. I did wind up kind of on the ground. I just threw a hand out, which kind of hurt my shoulder a little bit, but I never like fully like wound up on the ground. I have never tripped so much in a race in my life. Don't know why, but it was a really fun day. Like I said, the vibes were really awesome. It's just such a great event. So although it wasn't perhaps the performance I had wanted at the beginning of 2025, where I'm at in my training, it was a great training day. It was a great day out there. And as far as this race fits into my training for High Lonesome, you know, like I said, at the start of 2025, it was my B race, and I had really hoped to hit a new PR, but that just didn't happen. And that's okay. This is my longest run my second longest run of 2025, second to the Moab 55K. You know, I felt good, and I'm so happy I was able to finish with the strength that I did. So all in all, it was a great way for me to test out my fueling. It was a great way to test out my legs and see how they kind of respond to a lot of climbing in, you know, 25 miles. Some things that I kind of picked up on was, I know I talked about that I haven't been good about strength training, and that just kind of woke me up. It's time to take it more seriously. I think on some of the descents I could feel a little bit of fatigue in my legs, but knowing in High Lonesome I'm going to be doing a lot more descending, it's going to be so vitally important that I just prioritize strength training and make sure I have that strength built up in my legs to avoid a lot of fatigue. Secondary to that is I really think testing out liquid nutrition, especially in that heat, knowing I'm going to be at altitude for High Lonesome in the hottest points of the day, acknowledging that, I'm like, okay, that helps me understand my fueling and perhaps fueling strategy for the High Lonesome 100 just a little bit better and gives me a little bit more insight. So I'm really stoked on that. And then all in all, I mean, just getting ready to really start putting some vertical gain on my legs. Let's freaking go. It was just really motivating to be in a race mindset and just kind of be out there and just see where I might be able to tweak some things and give myself the best opportunity for a really fun, successful day out in the mountains here in July. We're about 8 weeks out from my taper, so I'm feeling really motivated, and like I said, just excited to kind of really start kicking things off here in this upcoming week as far as my training goes. And I have been kind of hesitant as to what my next race option was looking like, and I have been signed up for the Great Divide 100K here the first full weekend of June, and I was like hemming and hawing if I do that or if I decided to do the San Juan Solstice 50 miler. And just kind of given the time frame on things and where I'm at, I am going to be doing the Great Divide 100K. My thought is there's 9,000 feet of climbing. It's going to be a great day to test nutrition, have a long day out there that's supported, and just really just use it as a training day. Hopefully be able to, my main focus is to pick up the last 15 to 20 miles of that race to just mimic the high lonesome course, to just try to run those last 15 to 20 miles as best as I can. That's kind of the plan for next race. This was just a great weekend, a fun weekend, and a really motivating weekend, both mentally and physically, for this next phase of training that's going to be big. It's going to be huge, but it was so fun. I just want to say thank you again to everybody that was so supportive and said something to me and recognized me and was just really warm and kind. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are all so awesome, and like I said, I really appreciate the community we've built, and I'm just really excited to share that with you. Thank you for the love, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into responding to some comments here very shortly, so thank you. Again, thank you so much to John Jay for partnering with me, making incredible running apparel, and just being so awesome. I just love John Jay so much. And I just want to say thank you so much to NARA runners for another great QuadRock, another great event, just always doing such a good job. All the volunteers that were out, all the people that came out to support. What a great day. It was just so phenomenal. So thank you so much. And to you, thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point in the video, leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys, and I will be responding to comments here soon. It was so great meeting so many of you. I really appreciate all of you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you get out on some trail today, and I will see you in my next adventure. Bye.